Hey guys, this is Fatal here. So for probably 25 years, I've really enjoyed playing the RTS genre. Started back in college, a friend of mine played a game called Kings of Chaos. Then I played Ebony H2 on the browser for a long time. Then I played various mobile games from, well, most recently Top Heroes, but there were several other games before that. And there were a few things along the way that I really liked. And I think Ebony H2 on the browser was probably the best of all of them. None of the mobile apps have incorporated a lot of the mechanics that Ebony H2 on the browser had, and I was really tired of how all of these mobile apps were just a battle of who could pay the most. They didn't really have much depth in a lot of the battle mechanics. It was just all about who could have the strongest heroes, who spent the most money, or whatever. I wanted to have a game that had all the things I liked about it from Ebony 2, Ebony H2, and some of the stuff from Kings of Chaos, you know, insert mobile app game. They all seem like clones of each other, but I wanted to go ahead and build the game that I wanted to play. So I did. I've spent the last month probably working on this, and it's, for the most part, fully functional. It has most of the mechanics in it that I wanted. So I thought I would do a video on this because now I actually am to the point where I need some alpha testers. So let me kind of go over the game in general and what makes it a little different, because there are a lot of aspects of it that are similar to a lot of the other mobile RTSs out right now, just because those are necessary elements. But I want to tie off on really two things that I wanted to incorporate from Ebony H2 that are not out there in any of the other mobile apps. So first, let me kind of go over the structure of the game. So you have inside the city right now. Now, don't laugh about the graphics. I'm struggling with graphics. I'm not a graphical guy. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to make it look better. But anyways, you got your town hall here. This, of course, controls the max cap level of all the rest of the buildings. You've got a Hall of Heroes. So here's one of the things I wanted to incorporate from Ebony H2. I wanted to get away from this hero-based system like at Top Heroes or some of these other games where this becomes a money trap, right? I'm not looking to get rich off this. I wanted to build a game I wanted to play. So here you have a Hall of Heroes. The Hall of Heroes, you recruit heroes. So these heroes here, based on your Hall of Heroes level, it determines how many heroes you have and what quality heroes. So you have, I forget exactly what I call them off the top of my head now, but basically you have three tiers of heroes that you can recruit here, like common, rare, and legendary, or something like that. Yeah, common, rare, and epic. So the common heroes, they just cost money, gold to recruit. The rare heroes cost gold plus a scroll, a rare scroll, and then epic heroes cost gold plus epic scroll. You can also refresh this if you don't like the heroes you see. Costs 10,000 gold to refresh. Any gold, it's just a resource in the game. You can build a building that generates it, and you can go gather it from the world map as well. Um, so yeah, and each time you refresh it, the price doubles, and then after 8 hours, the price resets back to 10,000. But that way, you can't just sit there and endlessly spam refresh. These heroes can be included with a march. So, like if you go attack someone, you can include a hero, and you can see that they've got three stats: leadership, attack, defense. So the attack, of course, would apply on a march. They can also be set as a mayor. So if we scroll down a little bit here, we'll see the heroes that I have in this kingdom, in this castle. Now, ignore Cedric. I just created one with ridiculous stats. You would never see one with these stats. But you can set them as a mayor. And the mayor, this is something I took off of Ebony H2 also. The mayor of your city, the stats that they have boost different things in your city. So the leadership boosts your productivity of your city, and defense boosts the defensive ability of your city. Yeah, so anyways, that's one feature that I thought is kind of a unique play. Right now, the heroes, you can't really do anything to improve them. What I want to do is I do want to add an armor and weapon system for the individual heroes right here, but not one that's based on microtransactions like the other games. I want this to be one more like World of Warcraft or some of the other games like that, where you have to go, grind to find the gear. So basically, whenever you go attack NPC castles on the world map, you would get drops. I need to build that system in. I've got part of it in. I don't have it fully functional yet, though. But you would go grind gear for the heroes and the higher level NPC castles that you're killing, the better gear you would get. Now the flip side of that is you would lose troops, but I've got something for the troop part that is gonna really encourage you to. So yeah, that's basically the overview of the hero system. I do want to have where you can get drops off of NPC castles and maybe even off of some bosses and other things like that that spawn to encourage you to grind out different things related to the hero gear. Again, I don't want this part to be microtransaction based. I don't want this to be a place where you just get extorted for money. The next building here is the auction house. So a lot of mobile apps, they don't care to have an auction house because they want to make everything, again, microtransaction based. But think of things like RuneScape or other games like that, even WoW, where they have great auction houses. So you'll actually be able to post auctions and keep track of prices of what things sell for as they sell. So I wanted to build an auction house. There are certain items that are flagged as auctionable. Those things you'll be able to auction off. Another building, Rally Hall. So this is something that's pretty similar. Most RTS games I've played that are MMO have some form of rally hall, right? So rally hall is just going to determine how many participants you can have in a rally, as well as the maximum troops in the rally. One thing, like at Top Heroes, one thing I didn't like was the way that the battle mechanics work. If you were in a rally, it didn't have everyone in the rally fight at the same time. You had to take turns still in the rally. So like if 4 people were in a rally and you wanted to attack someone, it still only attacked with one first person in the rally attacked, second person rally attacked, third person in the rally attacked. The problem is that allows for you to have a whale on the server that gets so big that no one can defeat because you have no way to fight them, right? Likewise, whenever you're defending, if people reinforce you at Top Heroes, the same thing happens there. So if the whale on the server attacks you, you have no way to defend it because all he has to do is be able to easily beat each person who's defending. Or in this case, if it's rally, defeat each person in the rally. One thing I really liked with Ebony H2, and I think some of the other mobile RTSs that I played, I think all of them did this. Everyone in the rally fights at the same time. Now, one thing I've added in with Ebony H2, what I liked is the person in the rally who had the highest tech, their tech applied to everyone in the rally. So that's something I built in too, so that if you have one guy with really good tech, his tech applies to everyone in that rally. And then that will help also to make sure you don't get one person that just runs away and can just flatten the whole server by themselves. So that way it'll help to encourage the servers to last longer and not die as quickly. The scout tower determines how quickly you're alerted to an incoming scout. So you can see here at level 5, the view range is 15 tiles. I'll probably mess with that a little bit. Plus it gives us speed boost on your scouts. And the scout tower also gives you a bonus on your ability to defend against people scouting. So there's some math that's calculated when someone scouts you that determines how much information they get. So level of scout tower plays into that as well. That's the hall. No, that's the auction house. Where to look at? So here's the shop. So unfortunately, it's not free to run a server to play a game on. So I do have to have some kind of money coming in. So for right now, I've just tried to keep it simple, right? So you can buy pennies, and off of your pennies, you can then use in the premium shop. There's also monthly packs that I think I will have for very, very reasonable price, where you get a set amount of pennies per day based on which one you get. I'll probably mess with all these numbers right now. I don't even know exactly how much everything's going to cost. I've got to figure that out. I do not want this to be the kind of game where like a lot of people can't play it because it costs so much to be competitive. But I also have to be cognizant that I've spent an insane amount of time working on this game, and it's not going to be cheap to run it either. Web AWS is not free. So then here's some examples of items that you can buy in the premium shop. I'll go over what the tempered steel shards, fortune runes. It's a really cool mechanic. You could also get the tempered steel. Golly, it's hard to say. Tempered steel shards. You can also get those for free. Scroll of advanced teleportation, where you can teleport to anywhere on the map, and then some speed ups. I don't know what all I'll put in here. I just threw some stuff in here for now. So the next thing, that was the shop. Let's see here. We've got a research villa. This is just real standard technology research that pretty much every game has. I'll add some more stuff in here. I've got one more to do to add it in for for scouting. I want to do a scouting tree. I'll do some more trees too. I want to do, after you get combat and advanced combat, I want to break it out into the different types of combat. So you'll see there's actually different troops and they have different functions in the game. The next thing here is your hospital. So one thing I liked about Ebony H2 was your troops are healed instantly. I know most of the mobile apps now, they don't do instant healing on your troops because they like for you to spend real money on healing speed ups. But there's actually a part of the battle mechanic of the way that I built this battle engine that requires your troops to be healed instantly. And I may go over that in detail in another video. Just know the battle mechanics of this game are way different than any other mobile app RTS out there. It leaned heavily on my time as a very, very competitive F&E H2 player. The server I was on, I controlled 1/8 of the entire map for a very long time. So I know that battle engine very well. I really loved how it worked. I didn't rip it off. I didn't blatantly copy it, but I did definitely take a lot of inspiration from it. Engineer Workshop, it gives you different bonuses: wall repair speed, construction reduction cost, building speed bonuses. Plus it unlocks extra builders. There's some other stuff that goes around that too. Can't give away all the secrets. And then the other 4 buildings I have here are just barracks. So inside of the barracks, you can train knights, paladins, cavalry, archers, catapults, and scouts. They all have serve different functions. Scouts are for scouting, of course, but you can also send them on attack missions. They have very low attack, but a very fast speed. I need to fix their defense. I see it set to 50 right now. That should be set to like 10, but I'll fix that later. Knights are really balanced between the attack and the defense. Paladins are like knights, but just better, right? Cavalry or horsemen, they have high attack, but fairly low defense. Archers have high attack, but very low defense, but they have a lot of range. So these also have different ranges. So whenever you engage in battle, different troops fight at different times. So you get to really be creative with the attacks you send. It's not just a boring same old attack every time. You want to scout your target, see what defenses they have. Based on that, you want to figure out what setup you want to do. And you may do a lot of really small attacks to kind of wear down their layers of defense. And then once their layers of defense are low, maybe then you send a really big attack. That would be a really expensive attack to lose. But one cool thing is a lot of games go about trying to prevent people from getting massive armies in different ways. So with Ebony H2, it was your troops consume food as a resource. So you were always having to farm food. This became cumbersome, and it actually led most people to botting, right? So everyone botted at that game just to be able to feed their troops. I controlled 1/8 of the map, so the meaning of that map, there were 16 state capitals. I held 2 state capitals. I had, like, I don't remember, I want to say over 1 billion troops to defend those 2 castles. That ate a lot of food, right? It's not feasible to feed that. I don't want to be in that constant loop where you're always having to scramble to get resources to feed your troops. Other games just make it where there's no point in having a massive army. Well, I wanted there to be a point in your army size, but I wanted to encourage PvP. And if you get hit really hard, I don't want you to have to spend months and months and months to rebuild. So the way I went about this is there is a sliding time scale on how long your troops take to build. So if you have a really small army, you can build troops really quickly, and it goes in buckets. So once you get to like 100,000 archers, then how long it takes to make your archers starts to go up gradually. So you're encouraged to use your troops to fight because you can more easily recover from a large loss. And also, if someone wipes you out, you don't just quit the game. You can pretty easily get a respectable army to recover. But as you get a really big army, those times get really, really long to build the troops. So you're really encouraged to fight, right? And yeah, so that's really the barracks and the troop system. One unique thing here is I've not seen any game do this with that sliding time scale where the more troops you have, the longer it takes to build more troops. So I've not seen any game have that. I think that's a great mechanic that will really encourage people to go out and fight and have fun and not get so sore if they get owned or whatever. So those are the basic in-town buildings. You see this blue button here at the bottom left corner called Fields. Actually, I see one more building I forgot. There's a scaffold right here outside of the wall at the bottom of the screen. You click that, tap that, and that takes you to the walls. So on the walls, you upgrade your walls. They provide additional defense, but the main part of the walls is that's where the towers live. So the towers, you can think of them almost as troops. I've got archer towers and siege towers, anti-siege towers, whatever you want to call them. They have a significant range, and they join your archers in attack, and they have a very high attack value. So These are going to be key to defense on your city, something that you're going to want to have a lot of built on your city, and that way you just have extra additional uh, defenses ready to go. So you can queue up archers and siege towers both at the same time on your wall, so they each have their own queue. Um, and then as we go on out, and okay, so I'm gonna go to the world map. World map is really causing me some problems. I don't know how other games make the world map so smooth, but I've got it kind of smooth, but it's still really jerky, and it looks horrible, so ignore the graphics and stuff. Again, I'm really more focused on functionality and making this a really fun game to play. I've got a ton of work to do on the graphics right now. But you go in here, you see the cities with with the orange tops. So these are NPC castles, and then the cities with blue tops, they are player owned castles. You also have these really big. So here's a level 14 castle. This is a regional capital. And then if we go, so you tap on the mini map here, it pulls it up in a bigger map, and you can see all the different districts. So if you tap on the yellow part in the middle of a district, it'll take you to that point that you tap. You can tap anywhere on the map, it'll take you to that point. But the yellow point, of course, why is it hanging now? Probably a great time to crash, right? Uh, but the yellow point in the middle is where the city, the capital of that district is. So what in the world's going on? I don't know what's going on. But anyways, uh, so District 1-1, 1-3, 3-1, and 3-3, those are the regional capitals. They have level 14 cities. The other ones are all level 12 except for the one in the middle. See if it'll load. I don't know what's going on. I wonder if my server, it's never crashed like this before. But the one in the middle is level 16. And again, I'm taking inspiration off of Ebony Age 2 for that. These are NPC castles, and these are going to be exceedingly difficult to capture. Yes, I said capture. So one really cool thing that you can have is you can have multiple kingdoms. So I have two kingdoms right now. I have my normal kingdom, GKFJSHBD, just a bunch of random characters. And then you can slide over here, and you can see here, actually, I haven't renamed it yet, but captured castle level 6. So this is a level 6 castle that I captured. So you can capture NPC castles. So there is an algorithm that determines how many castles you can have. If you scroll down here, you can see you can have up to 8 castles in total at one time. Yeah, no more just one castle only. That's boring, right? This also was some inspiration I took off of Ebony H2. It was a really cool feature, and with holding the capital of a district, it comes with benefits, right? So a player holds that capital, not a guild, by the way, but a player holds. Oh, there's the level 16 castle right there. So a player holds that capital city. So yeah, like I said, with that comes some benefits. I haven't really defined those out necessarily yet. I have some ideas of some of the things that I want to do based on that, but definitely level 16 city is going to provide you the ability to send larger marches because you can have a higher buildings that control that. There's going to be other benefits to holding a level 16 and holding a level 14, and some of those also go into if you want to get your 7th or 8th. Gosh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Sorry. If you want to get your 7th or 8th castle slot, you've got to hold a level 14 or level 16 city. Your troops here, this shows the different troops. You can click on the little information icon. It'll show you all the information about the troops. I really want to have a lot of transparency in here. That way everyone understands how the game works as much as they can, and that way they can put together some really robust strategies. You click on guild. This is where the guild system is. Here you can see your members, guild announcements, guild mails, events and rallies, donations and perks. I haven't built that out yet. I need to do that. Guild buildings. Haven't built that out yet. I need to do that. You can search for other guilds. I'm the guild leader here, so you can see people that want to join your guild. And then here in yellow, first part's really cool. So federations are where you can enter as the guild leader. You can enter into a federation with other guilds. So if you have an alliance of other guilds, you can create a federation where you have this alliance defined. One other cool feature is you can declare war on a guild. So one thing I wanted to do is to basically have it to where if you want to attack another player, you have to declare war on them, and it will take, I don't know, let's say an hour or something before you can actually engage in attacking that player. But if that player is in a guild that your guild's at war with, then you can instantly attack them. You don't have to declare war. You can just hop over there and attack them anytime you want to. This kind of, I might adjust this. I don't know. I like this mechanic a lot. I've played other games that had this mechanic. It actually adds in some pretty nice features. It helps the person who got declared on have time to organize, with their guild to organize defense and stuff. It helps bring a lot of balance. Then, of course, you can leave the guild. Hero. So this is one layer of armor. So the hero equipment here, this you see right under where it says hero equipment, it says account-wide bonuses. These provide a bonus for the entire account, for all your heroes, all your castles, kingdoms, everything. They all get the bonus here. So as you level these up, you can see they get different bonuses, but you also get set bonuses. So let's see where, maybe it's up here. Here we go. So if you get all of your armor pieces to level 3, then you get plus 5% to all stats. If you get all your armor pieces to level 5 or more, you get 10% bonus. Level 7 or more, you get a 15% bonus. Level 10 or more, you get a 25% bonus to all stats. There's a good chance I may really bump that up at level 10 plus. That may go to like 100% bonus because of this part right here. So there is a success rate and a fail rate on upgrading your armor. You go to the blacksmith, you try to upgrade your armor from level 1 to level 2, there's a 90% chance of success. If it fails, it just stays level 1. Level 2 to 3, 85%, etc. Once you hit level 6, you attempt to upgrade to level 7. If it fails, it goes back to level 1, and you have to start all over again. So this is a really cool mechanic. Again, Ebony H2, I really loved. They had a feature. They went up to, like, I think level 15, but I spent like 6 months or a year just trying to get one piece up, right? I didn't want to quite make it that grindy, but I wanted you to have motivation to farm the pieces used to do the upgrade from the NPC castles. So there'll be the tempered steel shards, and I got like a scrap of leather. I've got 3 different armor fragments essentially that you use to try to upgrade, and they are farmed off of different levels of cities, different levels of NPC castles. Another thing, inventory here. I don't have a lot of different items in the inventory. I may add more. I don't know. A lot of games have a ton of stuff in inventory just because they're wanting more ways to, extort money from you through microtransactions. I really don't want to have things that don't provide a benefit. So I've got some stuff in the inventory. I'll probably add some more stuff later, but you can click along the top and it'll filter on the different things, different classes of them. And then on the messages here, so you've got direct messages, system messages, of course. Missions, if you have a march out, it'll show up here. And then battles, these are going to show you your battle reports. So this one here was where I actually captured a castle, that level 6 castle that I showed as my second city. It'll show you a bunch of stuff about the attack and everything, so you can see what's going on there as well. On the profile tab, some things I've added in. There is a way to see known issues. So I've got known issue number 5, the world map sucks, it's lagging. Bland, yes, I know that. When trying to pinch to zoom on the world map, the game client crashes. I actually got that work fixed today. I need to close that out. So if you find an issue, you can report an issue through the report issue button. Describe your issue in detail and you hit submit. You can click on my issues to see your issues, and you can cycle through all the different issues that you've got going on. So these are actually real issues. I use this to keep track of the bugs I find whenever I'm testing. So also, if you have suggestions, you can make a suggestion here, and you can see your suggestions that you've already made, right? Also, there's a life cycle to these. Whenever you submit an issue, it comes to me, and then I can accept it and work on it, and then I can resolve it, in which case it goes back to you. It'll show back up in my issues. And then you can either accept or reject the resolution. If you reject the resolution, then it'll have you give me information of why you're rejecting the resolution, and it'll come back to me in my queue, right? Create known issue, that's just for admins only. You can't see the create known issue button. But that's the notifications part. So, I mean, really, the navigation's kind of weird in a few areas. I'm getting used to it. I don't really like it a whole lot, but, oh yeah, there's also World and Guild chat as well. These actually work just, there's no one chatting because it's only me playing, and all of my test messages in here were older than 12 hours old, so they don't show up anymore. But yeah, I'd love if you guys let me know what you think about it. Yes, I know the graphics and UI need some work. The base functionality is really what I've been focusing on for the last month, but I'm needing a few people to hop in here and start playing so that they can start reporting any issues through through the profile button, and then report issues. I could, that would help me out a lot. I'm having a hard time even releasing this video because I don't like releasing things that are not, in a perfect state, but this is never going to get to be in a perfect state. So, there's also some developers things still enabled, like this little overlay up at the top that shows the zoom level and the level of depth the LOD is high. There's some things in here because this is still in development, so this would be like a pre-alpha release type of thing. But if you guys would be interested, Let me know. I've got a Discord channel and a website I've created also. I may share the Discord link in the comments. I'm not sure yet. I don't want a ton of people on here yet because I'm not. I mean, I'm just doing this in my spare time as a hobby. This is not my job. I do have a real job that consumes a lot of my time. But if you guys would be interested in being like pre-alpha testers, let me know. Uh, Let me know your background, how long you've played games like this, stuff like that. We'll probably try to coordinate that through Discord if there's anyone interested. So just, I guess, let me know in a comment. If I get enough comments, I'll probably share the Discord. But eventually, I will want to try to actually release this game because it's got a lot of cool things. I love this genre. I don't love how much it costs to be competitive. I don't think it's fair for a lot of players. I can afford it, but it's not fair for a lot of players, and I really want to kind of attack that. But I also really don't like that. I feel a lot of the games are built only to get money out of you, and because of that, they're lacking a lot of really good content. It's just all more about, let's add this thing that you can buy to make your hero stronger. Let's add this thing you can buy to make your hero stronger. Of course, I've got to figure out how to reasonably make enough money to at least keep the servers up on this. I don't have any idea right now what that's going to look like, but I'm a one-person show, right? I've done all of this by myself, so it's a lot cheaper since I'm doing it in my spare time, what little spare time I have. I don't have a whole army of people to pay, so I don't need to bring in all that money. I think most of those games bring in way more money than they need to anyways, but whatever. So yeah, I'd really be interested in honest feedback in the comments. I'm not afraid of constructive criticism. So if you guys have things that you suggest that maybe you think would be cool to add in, or things that you didn't like other than the graphics, I understand that. But if you think there's things that would actually contribute to negative experience, I'm open for feedback, and I'm also open for people who would be good testers. So yeah, um, thought I would go ahead and make this video and share it. So let me know what you guys think, and maybe we'll have more content coming out. I really want to try to make this a community-driven project because I want to put this out here for the community to enjoy. So thanks, guys.